I don't know if people want to hear about my story, but when I was a kid, I used to get an award every year for being a really good student. Well, this was elementary. But then I lost my sister was when I was only in grade 6 and she was grade 7. She was the best at every sport. I couldn't be bothered with sports. I just loved music and dancing. But I used to be actually quite smart. I didn't have My sister was in some sort of reading programs because she did not like to sit still and do any kind of homework or schooling at all. It was all about the sports. She just loved the sports. And she couldn't seem to sit down long enough to do any of her homework. So she was kind of behind on a lot of stuff. I think my dad gave her a hard time because it came easy to me because I could easily sit down and read a book and be in my fantasies. I loved books. Books was my escape. Books was my way of being in a more perfect reality. Because my reality did not seem very perfect when I was a kid. I was always the one during sports. I was never picked because I was chubby. I was always the one that was teased by people, especially people in my family were the meanest. For some reason, my mom's family, those cousins were usually the meanest, not the ones that lived other places, but the ones in town. My cousins that were all girls, I felt like they were jealous of me maybe because their mom wasn't well. She had a mental illness. And actually they lived not far from me. And that's where my parents got married, at that house. But yeah, it was very, when I was a kid, I felt either so much connection with my cousins that were all girls, but they're all older than me. Of course, I was the cute, chubby, younger cousin that they didn't really like because I had the mom that they all wanted. But my mom was chubby too. Their mom was not chubby and their dad definitely wasn't chubby. He was a plumber, and I thought, back to the story about plumbers, I thought a plumber was like a doctor because I had no idea why he had so much money. And I thought anybody in trades was messy and dirty, but no. He was always dressed very nice. And any plumbers I've ever met in my actual life, like grown-up life, they've always dressed nicely. They're always very tidy because they do a really messy job and they do want to get clean after. But yeah, going back to when I was a kid, anything schoolwork, homework came easy to me. I didn't have to spend a lot of time on it. My mom used to say I was clear focused. When I would be in class, I would just completely focus on what I had to do and I would do it. And I got awards every single year.